All right, folks, welcome on back here this Friday, July 9th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Welcome on back here for this afternoon meeting to close out our week. Great to see all of us live in the Cyber Group trading room. Robert, Tina, Andrea, I know a couple of us in heavy anticipation for this MTSL trade, or at least the news or perhaps lack thereof on it. Great to see all of us, though, otherwise live inside the Cyber Group room, and for all of us on social media for the last meeting of the week here, Facebook Live and YouTube. Welcome on back. So we got a lot to dig into here today. No class coming up later on this afternoon, so I can kind of take my sweet time. So we'll talk about Bitcoin at the end. I'll save some time for that. But the MTSL trade, and just one of many runners that we ended up catching, throughout the course of the day. I was going to say at the market open, but this one in particular, more was running heading into this very meeting. So what's the news? Why is the stock popping? How are we trading it? Why did it get halted? Everything. Well, first thing, unfortunately for Robert and Andrea or Tina who are asking about the story, I think it was even Michael that was asking, is there a big news story on it? First, might I say, we don't care if there's news on it, really. Like, we don't need to know if there's news on this stock in order to make money. That's not going to make us determine whether to buy or sell at a specific price or time. I mean, if you're trying to dig for the news as this stock is running up, 10 cents after 10 cents, popping, in and out every other minute, you're going to miss the whole trade. So what's the news on this? Well, goes to what I just was kind of alluding to. There's no news. In fact, Benzinga Pro even listed, they went so far as to say, MTSL shares trading higher. They're moving higher on volume, not seeing any company-specific news to justify the price action. That's it. So if you were trying to dig left and right, trying to pull out a news headline as this was running up, only to have no news out, you're wasting your time. So that's a quick little tip of the day. Now, I'm not saying that more to our students. I'm saying that more to our folks on social media joining us, today. For our students like Michael and Tina and Robert and Leda, all of us here otherwise, we talk about that in the Phase 1 stock course, just talking about news or, at least when it's the right time to look for news. But when this got halted, when it was frozen, when it moved up so fast, so quick that, they ended up halting trading, that's when you look into the news. It's frozen for 5 minutes. So you look for your support resistance. You try and see if there's any news at that point, but you want to make sure you come back to it in time because it goes to say, I think this was even the second halt here where it got halted on the way up. When it reopened, it popped, came right back down though. So, listen, for the afternoon, I'll put this on our list to begin. I am so reluctant with how I say it because by the end of this meeting, after I go across the gainers and losers and, all the others, I might even take this off. This might not be on the afternoon watch list at the end of the meeting. I'll start by putting this on our list. It's good enough given the afternoon run up, but if this totally flops from this point and there's no real, bounce level to work off of, then I'll focus on others. We'll just kind of, toss this in the garbage and move on. That's it. All right. You know what? We don't have class later on today. I'll take my time. We'll go across some of the big winners from earlier today, which there are plenty of. Actually, so many. Fausto chimed in earlier, and he was even, overwhelmed by how much was moving. And I didn't really have an agenda otherwise as far as where I was going to start with. So no better place to start right from the top, right? So the SGOC trade, I think it's another stock that may have been moving off of, lack of news. I'll take a quick look here on BP, but I don't really have a headline on this one. I thought one of us may have posted some bad news on this company. Maybe it had been an old headliner from last week or so forth, but they ended up receiving notification from NASDAQ that it was not in compliance with the exchange's listing rules for its failure to file its 2020 annual report with the U.S. SEC. So, I don't know how old that headline was, but either way, clearly that doesn't stop this stock from running up over 500%. Are you kidding me? So, hey, going into the close, I'll put this on our list also alongside the MTSL. This one in relation to, the run that it's made, it's definitely still pretty close to its highs. So we'll put it on our list, hopeful for another new pop, another new, breakout on this trade. I don't know if it's all-time highs. I would assume yes, but you never know. MOXC yesterday we talked about that. Looked like it was until we checked the monthly and it wasn't. See? So I don't know what this data is all about back from 2012. I mean, it's not really a true all-time high. Either way, it's good. It's great to see. I mean, how often do we really see a stock make a clean 500% run across the whole, morning or let alone even the afternoon here? we see stocks up 100%, 200%, throughout the whole week. But to see a stock 500 plus and run up throughout the whole afternoon or morning into the afternoon, it's incredible. So, this is definitely one of the best trades that we've caught across even the whole month, if not maybe the entire calendar year. I'll let Fausto be the judge for that. But, either way, we'll put this on our list for right now. It started to dump off, broke below 16 just over the last 2 minutes. So, again, between this and MTSL, I'll even come back to both at the end if we build up a really good list, and we'll kind of cherry pick at that point. TPST, another crazy runner. This one you could tell just from the daily chart took a huge hit back during the pandemic. Once this ended up dropping off from March, around like $140 roughly around there, down to I don't even know what the low is here. I'll just check for fun. Low is as low as yesterday. 1039. Sheesh. So, we saw this on MOXC. Is it possible for this stock to continue to run up going into this afternoon, going into Monday next week? Perhaps. The order book's so thin. We have so many stocks like this on our main list, or that could be on our main list. So for right now, I'm going to pass on this one in particular. I have a couple otherwise that don't have as big of a spread, that have more filled in order book, that we're going to be talking about here in just a bit. I got a stock number 8 here that we'll talk about very shortly from now. Let's see what else we got though in the meantime. TBL. That was weird. TBLT number 5. This was more pre-market into the open. Nice cheap stock, level 1. Ended up making the slingshot right out the gate from 105, popped up to 125. That you can't get, well, I guess you can get better than that, but you can't expect for much better, much more. So, this was a really nice trade. Ended up leading to a nice bounce, unfortunately a lower high, but yeah, at this point right now, it's not good for the afternoon, but it was a great play from earlier this morning. Stamps a buyout. Going to pass on that. It's way too expensive anyway. But once the news comes out on a buyout, folks, really quickly, this is the end result every time. All right, TBLT we went to already. MTSL is already on our list, right? Oh, jeez. Oh, my goodness. Look what happened to this thing. Do I pull it right away, folks? Do I pull it right from our list right away? I just said if it dumped off and we don't really have much of a bounce point, I'd just pass on it. I don't know. For the meantime, I'll kind of skip ahead, come back to this at the very end. But at this point, not looking too good. Pets, PETZ. Funny enough, dogs running at the same time. No, really, I mean it. So both popping up on Benzinga Pro simultaneously. DOGZ dogs and PETZ pets. This was like the better move, but ended up dumping off just going into this meeting. Not a whole lot happening now. Yeah, you got eyes and ears running at the same time. You get pets and dogs. I guess stock market's not really a cat fan out there. You got TCAT out of all of them, right? The NFT stock, TKAT out of them. Oh, man. All right. You got Square Foot, SQFT. Nice push right now. Not breaking new highs, at least. Maybe not yet. Oh, no, it did pop. Yeah, it did break earlier. Okay. So I knew this was running up before. I didn't know if it was, new highs. It was just over the last 5 minutes. Got a thin order book, though, so I don't know. Again, another one I'll come back to. I'll kind of kick this on the side list for the meantime, though. It's not really on the main list just yet. Fausto was calling out PBI from before. Moving back up. Definitely moving back up. High of the day, 992. Right? There we go. I was going to say. Ended up popping, really shortly after the market opened up from 850 up towards 992 or something, close to 10. Pushing back up right now. I don't mind putting this on our main list, the PBI. It should be a lock. All right, where was it? Oh, there it is, the Galt trade. I don't know if it jumped up here. The GALT trade Galt. For as much as this stock was a dud today, and what I mean by that is, of course, you could see from the trend off the highs, just if you can imagine, I'll draw it right now, but, this stock was trending down right after the initial pop from the market open here. It ended up making a slingshot, after 10 o'clock, ended up dumping off, and it was just really ugly afterwards. We were looking for a couple of good opportunities on this trade off of exactly 363. There was a couple of iceberg orders in pre-market there. This stock ended up, there's the first one. I drew a couple on my other chart that I'm not showing to you folks right now, but let's see if I could do it like this. There we go. And I could probably draw it right from this top too, just, really connecting the other peaks. But right now, where this stock stands, it's actually still interesting to me. In fact, it's not even just the chart and the level 350, but if you happen to see this big spike of volume here around 2:15 Eastern time, I called this out. I said to you folks inside the trading room, I said there's a 91,000 share print filled at 350 on the ask. So, it came up in green on time and sales. That's how you know it was filled on the ask at least. But it's not a matter of, well, I guess it is a matter of if. But if we happen to see this stock pop over 350, keep showing, green over 350 on the tape, it won't be a matter of if at that point. It will be a matter of when. When will we see the stock begin to, move up off the 350 level? Looks like we're trying to get that right now. So, hey, gold, I don't mind putting back on our list. It was nice to us in pre-market. It was pretty nice to us after the open. But after 10 o'clock, it was really, really bad. It was just trending down, not really many good buying opportunities. I'll put it on our main list like the other three, or the others like MTSL and SGOC. I'll come back to it at the end. For right now, we'll put it on. Just skim through here. Otherwise, TAL. I saw the LKCO trade from earlier. This one's getting close to the highs here again. I guess for such a slow-moving stock, not really as much. I don't know. Carve, for as much as this pumped up and broke all-time highs yesterday, it ended up doing the same thing today. Ended up, running up in the after hours last night, and then, more so the push up after the market opened today. So it even broke higher, but it's doing the same damn thing that we said it was going to do back then, that it did a year ago, right? Just this time last year, or back from June of 2020, ended up seeing the stock make this big squeeze in pre-market, pumped up, dumped back down the following few days after, right? So that's exactly what's happening now. All right, let's see what else we got here across the gainer side, and then we'll just hop over quickly to the losers. Not a whole lot really that's down with the market as far as the familiar name. SPY's up today. Nice way to end the week. I'll tell you, just skimming the losers list here really quickly. That quick moment of silence, that was me kind of thinking, I'm like, bunch of stuff hard to borrow on the loser side here to begin. So unless if it's really down big enough, I'm not really going to be too interested in it. Just for fun, I don't know, NTXP or NXTP. This might be a glitch from TradeStation. It shouldn't be really down 91%. That's likely like a forward split or a reverse split, I mean. Tell you, that's pretty much all I got, folks. Not much really on the loser's end. I mean, just skimming through. I really have been doing this meeting, you folks know, in the trading room at least every day for the last 6.5 years. The losers list doesn't provide nearly as much as the gainers does going into the afternoon. So, just between some of the stocks that are shortable, I don't really see much. Folks, if there's anything that you see up, down, left, right, more than 5%, just type it in the chat board. Let me know. Just caught it from YouTube right now. This was from 8 minutes ago, so I apologize for the late chat here from RJF on Carve. So we talked about that from before. So, it's so volatile. Maybe if it does squeeze up, make like a smaller interim bounce, you can get $1 on it, maybe. But I don't know. That's like more gambling now at this point. From Leda calling out Tilray pop. I don't know if there's news out that lets that pop, but yeah, not a bad call. It's always been a sideless stock. Let me just see if there is any news on it. I got no news on it. It says unusual options activity insight from Tilray. That's all I got from Benzinga Pro. But I don't know. Maybe I'll keep it on the side list later. Maybe it was just, maybe it was exactly that. Maybe it was unusual options activity, just quick squeeze up and just going to kind of consolidate, come back down. All right, checking Benzinga Pro signals page right now, which was actually kind of wonky earlier today. Got it fixed. So IMTE popping right now pretty nicely. Look at this thing go. Geez, another one that's like more of a pop and drop type of play. You could just see on the daily chart. Back from June of last year, back from January of this year, February, March, April, like practically every month to begin this year. It made like a run up or pump up, and just see on the daily chart, the red bars. Those are all the days where it dumped back down within the same day where it ran up. So It's not saying that this is going to do that here today, but it's not necessarily a swing trade by any measure. So, hey, it's up 29% right now. Let's see if it can keep going. For anyone in Cyber Group right now, that Galt trade's trying to move up off that 350 level. Again, that was one we put on our list, but I was talking about that like 10 minutes, 15 minutes before we started the meeting even. So, for Bobby, for Tina, for Norman, if you folks were watching that, I told you to watch that off 350 going into the meeting. Hopefully that can make a nice move for us. How much higher on the SGOC? Your bet's as good as mine. And what I mean by that really is if it ends up popping higher, really, who knows? But with the waning volume that we have here, who's to say it's going to move up higher? So don't guarantee it for a stock that's up 500%. If it doesn't break higher, there's only one other way that thing's going. You don't want to be on the wrong side of that trade. So we're going to keep it on our list in hopes, of this beginning to move up or find some sense of support. But I'll tell you, this last drop here doesn't seem too promising. And then for Mitch, I think that we caught that at the same time. Yeah, I guess you were looking at the IMTE same time as me there. All right, so the only one I said I'd really, well, I guess I'd said I'd go back to them all, but the SQFT trade I said I'd keep on the side, didn't really put it on the main list. And yeah, since I stopped talking about it or looked away, this thing dumped right back down. So yeah, we're not going to put this on our main list. The Galt trade, we're going to keep on PBI, keep on SGOC, reluctantly keep on MTSL. Yeah, tell me, is this thing going to move back up? Does not look like it. So maybe we could find some support on this trade, but otherwise we might have to work off of 3 o'clock time, folks, and rescan the market going into 3 o'clock in our trading room and see what else we got. All right. And alas, for anyone waiting for crypto, the long-awaited crypto minute. Now, I say that in jest. No one's really dying for this, but I always like to show crypto going into the weekend, going into the week, of course. But hey, same stuff every day, right? At this point, over the last 2 weeks, really. This is a 6-hour chart, so this shows practically the full picture over the last year. But it's to say that I have the 6-hour chart for right now up because I noticed something here that is very similar to a pattern that we had on the 1-hour chart. So for any of our Bitcoin or crypto traders out there, just give me a quick sec. This will probably populate more. There we go. So the 500 EMA on the hourly chart, really strong level. It topped here perfectly. It popped this briefly, and I knew it was going to come back down. I knew that we were not nearly out of the doghouse on this. And, well, it ended up breaking lower, right? So it's to say that this has been kind of holding around in this channel, in this range, tying between all of my other, moving averages here. But on the 6-hour chart, I'm thinking, well, for the 500 EMA right here, I guess it's valued at 41,206 today. It's still pretty far away from that. So I feel like there's a chance, I'm very bullish on it long term and across this whole year. I think there's a chance of 100K by, I don't want to say December at this point, maybe January to February. But, otherwise, I think in the very short term, if this doesn't break lower, that is, I think there's a chance we can get an eventual test up towards 41, 42, probably bounce off there pretty hard. But for what we saw on the 1-hour chart, what's to say that we can't see the same exact pattern play out on the 6-hour, right? I like to focus on the hourly, the 6-hour, the daily, and the weekly. Those are my 4 charts for crypto. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. We've been in the same channel for the last week and a half, so it's been very uneventful. Any sort of news up, down, left, right will make crypto altogether move. So we'll see what comes out of the weekend. That's it. All right. But otherwise, folks, I think that just about wraps it up. Got one of us on YouTube saying I thought SGOC would hit 19. I don't know. I got Lotto tonight, too. Maybe when it was at 18, maybe you could hope for 19 at that point. But when it's at 10, what makes you think it's going to hit 19? Unless if there's some sort of iceberg order out there that could act as resistance. But the order book is so thin on this trade, it's very difficult to identify that, just from this point. And certainly now, it looks like it's just going to break lower. I don't know what the float is on this stock, but before this week, this stock was trading like 100,000 shares, much less a day. So I don't know. All right. From Michael, are you ever worried that they will stop cryptocurrency in order to stop the ransomware hack? No, not at all. Were you ever worried about anyone stopping the internet back in the 90s? The telephone companies actually were worried about that. I actually saw a nice little news article from I forgot what year or what month or whatnot, but it was actually posted on Twitter earlier this morning, if I'm not mistaken. But it was about the telecommunication companies, getting all riled up about the internet, being accessible, and they're looking to shut it down to unfair competition and there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be somebody. So, I'm very bullish. I'm going to remain to be bullish, So do your own due diligence. That's all I'll say. I'll say that to anybody. Do your own research. Actually, for Bonnie, who asked in the trading room earlier this week, I actually did not get back to her on this. I will get back to her right now. As soon as I finish up this meeting, give me about 5 minutes. I forgot about this up until right now, and I apologize. She was asking who I follow for crypto, Bitcoin, and all of that. I failed to mention that. I think that was from Monday this week, Tuesday. Probably had a lot going on, so my apologies. It had to have been Tuesday. Monday we were off, but nonetheless, I will mention that to you folks coming up in just a bit. I'll give you a nice long list of people that I follow on Twitter, just on the internet in general. All right, for all of us on social media, I hope you enjoy the weekend ahead. If you're interested in joining us live inside our trading room, perhaps as early as this afternoon, to learn more about my resources for crypto and all of that, our call outs, more importantly, from this list heading into the close, make sure you just go right down to the link on the banner below to get yourself started on a small trial. That way you'll be able to access the trading room and everything else that we offer. All right, otherwise though, for all of us on social media, again, enjoy the weekend. We look forward to seeing you back on Monday going into next week. For all of us live inside the trading room, just give me a quick couple minutes. I'm going to post and tweet the picks, and then I'll be back on, Bonnie. Like I said, I'll give you all my resources for crypto. All right, talk to you soon.